What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Enigmatica 6, and today we're going to be doing some beekeeping. So I'm assuming you guys can pretty much already tell exactly what we're going to be doing in today's episode from those clips at the beginning of the video where I was doing a little bit of the gathering necessary for what we're setting up today. But if you could not tell yet, well, we're going to be messing around with Resourceful Bees, and we're going to be using those specifically to get infinite slime balls, which might seem a little bit random, but I promise it will make sense as to why I'm doing that in a minute here when I go over all the important stuff before we start building. The one thing I want to say though is I am really excited to mess around with this finally, and I'm assuming that you guys are too because you've been requesting it for a very long time. It came up pretty early on in the series as to, people asking why I wasn't using it, and the main thing people wanted me to use it for was ore generation. So in place of the laser drill setup right here, on the episode where I set this up, I got so many comments left and right. Why aren't you setting this up with bees instead? Bees are way more efficient. Why would you not use bees when you have them available to you? And really the answer was I just wanted to try out something new. I saw people using bees all the time, and while it may be more efficient, I don't even know, it could be way better than this. I thought this was a little bit more of a fun option, and we can make this thing up to 3 times faster. So again, bees might be way better than this. I don't know, but we've got basically infinite resources now, so not really a huge concern with that. But I figured we'd use bees for something else because I do want to use them. They look very cool, and I've actually never had the chance to mess around with them. So today we're finally going to do that, and we're going to use it to get infinite slime balls. And the main reason is if we take a look at the processor binding from Refined Storage, this thing is going to use slime of at least some kind, and we have 2 options here. We could either repeatedly make slime from industrial foregoing, the pink slime that you can see, which is a little bit of an annoying process. We'll have to move it from our system all the way over there, put it into a dissolution chamber, auto craft glass, get it to craft that, dump the excess water, all that junk that I really don't want to do. Or we could just set up these bees and have one setup for slime balls and we're good to go. So that's exactly what we're going to go with today. And I may eventually expand it once I have this set up and I actually know how it works to do stuff like quartz, because I saw there was a quartz bee. I even saw there was a netherite bee. So I don't know if you can generate netherite, but if you can, that's crazy. And we're definitely doing it because I am super lazy with setting up one of these laser drills in the nether. I'm really bad about that. I keep saying I'm going to do it and then I don't. And if we take a look at my system and we take a look at quartz, well, we're pretty low. We have like 100,000 diamonds and we have 78 nether quartz. So there is something wrong with that. But either way, really the issue is not with the quartz. It's with this right here. So we've got 10 pink slime that I was using when I was upgrading my sword here, but we have no slime, no actual slime balls in here. We used the last 2 when we were messing around with Enigmatica, and so that's a problem because I cannot do anything really with Refined Storage until we get more of those. So the rambling is now done. We got to go do some stuff with Resourceful Bees because I need me some slime balls. I gotta have it. And so we're going to take care of that today, and we're going to do that upstairs because I figured that the appropriate place to set this up would actually be outside. So we're going to have a little bit of a bee sanctuary area-ish thing over here. I'm sure there's a word for it where you house the bee. I know there's like the apiary and stuff and all that, but like a general area where you have a bunch of like apiaries and hives and all that. I bet there's a word for it. I definitely don't know it. Kudos to you that do. But either way, we're going to be setting it up out here. And lucky for me, someone who really doesn't have much experience with this mod, there is in-game documentation, which is awesome. But on top of that, there's also a quest chain for these right here at the very bottom. We got to scroll down. It's trying to hide from us. It's in the magic section, which I think is kind of funny. I mean, I guess it's probably magical how much you can generate with this from what you guys have been saying. So, I don't really think it's magic like, astral sorcery or, blood magic and stuff like that. But either way, they have a quest chain for this. So this right here is hopefully going to teach me, much like it did in Enigmatica, what the heck I am doing. Because I've seen people do this before a little bit. I know people like it, and I've never messed with it. So we're going to figure it out together in today's episode. And we're going to start out by completing this task right here, first one. And this is going to get us our empty bee jars, which I already made because I had to collect some specific bees for today's episode that are in the world. And then we're going to get the Beepedia. So that is going to be the in-game documentation, and this is what I'm going to read up on to figure out what I'm doing. And someone is being annoying. You guys can also hear, if you heard that clanging, it's that's actually turned down, if you can imagine, but that is the ace of iron. The ace of iron and the slicer's dice are both super loud. From last episode, if you didn't see it, we killed some bosses in Meet Your Fight. We crafted these little trinkets, and they're really effective, but they're so loud. So I was like blocking a ton of damage there because I'm quite lucky and we have that. But oh my gosh, those things are just clang, 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 clang. It's like I'm in the middle of a factory when they're like pressing metal and stuff. So, and apparently my inventory is very full. So we got to deal with that. But either way, we should have a pretty good amount of information to start out with this. And so let's see where that takes us. Okay, so I did a little bit of clearing out of the area, as you saw, and a little bit of building, and this is what we're left with. Now, this thing looks horrible. I'm just going to say that right out the gate. So I basically took whatever I had and tried to put together an area that I think will work when we have an apiary, because it's got like certain multi-block requirements. You can see them if you kind of hover over. If we go to the apiary and then we hold control, it says it needs a 7x6x7 hollow box. And then you need all these other things in there, but you can use any valid apiary tag. So I think these work. I don't even know how to pull up tags on the actual blocks. I know you can do that somehow, but I've seen people make ones that look like this. I'm assuming this will mostly work, but either way, I want to be able to contain the bees whether we have an apiary or not, even when we're just starting out, because it's looking like we're going to have to collect some honeycomb and stuff as we progress through until we can get to the apiary. And that means some manual collection, even if a multi-block isn't totally required, which is fine, but yeah, it's definitely something we got to deal with. So this is what we have for now. I'm probably going to change the color scheme to match these more, but I also kind of want to make one that looks thematically correct for the guys that we have in here. So maybe once we've got some slime blocks to work with, I can find a way to work that in. That'll be an off-camera thing. So this just looks horrible for now. That's cool. We're rolling with it. We're going to pretend that we're half blind and it's dark out. And we're on a blind date with this little hut right here. And we showed up and we're going to be nice to it and we're not going to leave. But, you know, there's probably not going to be a second date with this thing. So next episode, it's going to look way different. But either way, now we can take a look at the quests because we've got 2 of them already complete. So the empty bee jar one is right-clicking a bee with the empty jar. It'll get caught inside it. So we already know that. So we get to collect those. The next one is the bee box, which can hold more. I'm not going to use that right now. We've got the bees that we want already. The combs here, we got to collect some combs first, which is important for us to do because we need those for crafting. But we have a bee's nest. We got a couple different kinds. So that gives us some honey cookies. We get some more empty bee jars. So many jars. Here, we can just check this because I understand you can get mutations when you're breeding. And I don't know how to encourage them necessarily, but I know we can get that. But the next thing we need to look at is the tier 1 beehive. So this one is an upgrade based off the standard bee's nest, and the higher tier, the more bees it can house, the faster it runs, and the more it will produce. So I guess they allow the production of the honeycomb, which can make other resources. So if we make a tier 1, we get 8 to 16 honeycomb, which is one of the things we need to further the crafting. So we're just going to craft this up. We should have everything we need. So we've got the tier 1 beehive. We can dump our regular hives in there. And is it really not able to take any of those automatically? Like, I know we can just dump those in there, but can it really not take those automatically? Wow. Okay. Well, now we're able to complete this. So we get our honeycomb, and then we can complete this quest, which gives us shears and a thing from Farmer's Delight. And the special combs are going to be not processed in the centrifuge or are best used elsewhere. So we can just complete that one, some nice XP. This is how you do the centrifuge stuff. We're not going to worry about that yet until we have some actual modded combs to process. But if we take a look at the tier 2 beehive, to make that, we need some form of modded honeycomb. Well, I guess it's technically any honeycomb, which we already have a little bit of, and the tier 1 beehive, but really the bee's wax is the part that's hard to get. So to get this, we need to use the centrifuge, and we need to use it on a block of honeycomb, and we have a chance at getting out beeswax. So for this, I guess technically we could probably use some of the honeycomb that we've gotten so far. So maybe we don't need to put these down, but each one is going to require more and more. So eventually we're going to have to place some of these down. So I guess we might as well just start with the first one. So I'm going to be honest here, guys. I have never messed around with bees in vanilla Minecraft, modded Minecraft, any of it. I just don't touch them. I don't see a huge point. So we'll pretend like I know what I'm doing, but we're going to put down a beehive, and then the bees that I have that are important are the slimy bees. So these guys, I got 2 of them. They were over in one of the swamps. I remembered seeing them before, so I went and grabbed them. Now, you know what? I guess I should actually probably move this up. Do we need to silk touch this? No, this should be fine, right? Okay, yeah, so we can just break it like that. I should move this up because we're going to want to smoke this. And if we end up wanting to put a campfire below it to do that instead of using the smoker to collect stuff, we'll have to do that. But so we are going to put down our bees. I don't know if we just have to like click them on that. Okay, so it's got both of those guys inside it. Now we could put down some of the other bees if we want. I don't see a huge point, but we're basically going to have to allow these bees to do their thing in here and produce honeycomb, which I guess in this case, in the apiary, you can actually access stuff internally, but with this one, we're basically just waiting until it shows honey dripping out of it to collect it, and then we're gonna have to smoke it so that we don't basically piss off the bees when we gather it and then use shears to gather it. So I'm just gonna let these guys do their thing. We could actually breed them too. So if we want to do that real quick, if they pop out of here, basically to breed these, we got to give them, well, we got to give them slime blocks. So I guess that's not happening until we get some of the slime. So we'll do that later in the episode. But for now, I'm gonna let these guys do their thing so I can collect some honeycomb in here, and then we can progress with some crafting. Okay, so it's also occurring to me now that they might need some flowers in here for pollination, and I believe these bees can use any kind of flower, because I think if we shift right click on them and we take a look at what flowers they need, they can have like any of these. So they can have mystical flowers from Botania. They can have pretty much all the ones from Oh the Biomes You'll Go, atmospheric, regular Minecraft. So I'm hoping that these guys work with pretty much any flower. That's going to be my assumption. So we can put down some yellow daffodils in here and make it all nice. We can mix it up a bit too. We got some orange daisies. We got a dandelion, and you know, we'll make it real nice in here for them. Later on, I'll get ones that look a little bit better, but, you know, I kind of figured that, yeah, maybe they need some flowers to do some pollination stuff, and I was just kind of sitting here being an idiot. So now that's taken care of, and again, we'll hop back in a bit. Okay, guys, so we are back. The beehive is good to go. It's at honey level 5. They were pollinating out here, going back in. Then I sped it up with a cloud in a bottle 256 times. They immediately upped the honey level and did it all over again. So it was actually really fast, finally being able to use that, put it to good use after I've stored almost like 80 hours in that thing. And so now I've done a couple things. The first thing is I made the bee smoker so that we can smoke this thing for 30 seconds so that they won't get angry. And then we have the scraper, which is going to be used for collecting honeycomb from tiered beehives. And we just got to collect all of them, and then we're good to move on. So I think we just right click this, it's smoked. And then we just keep right-clicking it, collect all of them. They drop on the ground, it looks like. And we got 5 of them, which is awesome. And then it will unsmoke in another, like, 15 seconds. And I'm curious if we speed it up right now, if we just go all the way up, they pop out and they already put it back to honey level 2. Awesome. So the next thing is if we come out here, we'll let them do their thing in there, don't want to interrupt them. But if we take a look, I have the manual centrifuge. And so basically, this is the first one it seems that you start out with for centrifuging stuff, and eventually we can get a powered one. But this one was the first quest, and so it looks like we also got some quest rewards. We got a skeleton bee jar. Okay, that might have been the only quest reward. Oh, it looks like we got some fish stew from a quest earlier or something. Either way, though, we are able to put this thing down, it looks like, and I'll mess around with this before I make the powered one because it looks interesting. It reminds me of Create, where like you kind of crank the stuff, but we're going to put down our slimy honeycomb in there, and I think we need some glass bottles too. I don't think I have any in here, so if we just take some glass and make some in case honey comes out. so that we can get that. So we'll make like 20 of them, toss those in here, and I think if we just shift right click it, that is such an unpleasant sound, but let's see. So it's processing it. So we have our 4 slime balls. It processed 4 of them. We didn't get any honey. We didn't get any of the beeswax, which is technically what we need. So that's the manual one. Let's try moving on now to the next one, the powered centrifuge. So the recipe for this really isn't that expensive either. So I guess you'd use this very early on if you're going to use it to get resources, but doesn't seem like it's super critical for us to kind of use that. So we'll make the regular centrifuge, and then we have the quantum entangloporter. We'll just use this one. I think I have a couple sitting in there with different settings, but we'll get rid of this bad boy right here, grab out the stuff, and we can put this down like, we'll just put it down right over here for the time being. So we'll put the quantum entangloporter down on the ground. We'll set it to power. We'll set it to output on all the sides, since apparently last time the sides were not actually what they thought they would be. And then we'll put that down on top of it. Now it's powered. We'll dump our honeycomb in there, and we will put our bottles in there, and we'll let it go. So definitely not the fastest thing in the world. It's also raining out now apparently, but hey, we got some beeswax. Now I guess actually we need beeswax and we need honeycomb. So I should probably not process all of this. I should probably use some of the stuff from in here. So let's speed this up. Will they come out even at night in there and process it? That's taking a little bit. I don't know. Let's go and see. You know what? I'm probably going to hop off camera, and I am going to collect all that we need to progress through multiple tiers of beehives, and then we will be back. Something I also didn't notice is one of the achievements or advancements is called Wax On, Wax Off. I just have to say, Karate Kid, absolutely awesome movie. The original one. The remake of it, horrible. Absolutely horrible. Butchered it. Terrible. Hated it. Awful. So just really, really depressing that they put that out and just kind of besmirched, in my opinion, the Karate Kid name. Okay guys, so we are back now. I've been doing a fair bit of work off camera, and so we've got a decent amount of resources to work with, which means it's time to do some progression with Resourceful Bees. Now I was hoping I could just kind of leap all the way through the different beehives up to an apiary, at least the tier 1, because the apiary makes it way easier to deal with automation for this, and you don't need to deal with redstone and stuff like that. So I was hoping to do the apiary, but we're going to need to basically progress through each tier of beehive one at a time because they incrementally become better. And if we take a look at the recipes for these, the initial one doesn't need that much. Next one, well, it starts needing a fair bit. And the tier 4, along with the tier 1 apiary, both require a fair bit of modded honeycomb blocks and then honey blocks, and so going up incrementally should make it a little bit easier for us to kind of achieve that. Along with that, if we take a look in here right now, I believe all the bees are inside the beehive, which is fine. I'll speed it up and get them out of there when I have to pick this up in a second, but I bred the slimy bees, so we now have 3 of those. And then the 4th bee is actually a forest bee, and the main reason is because, unfortunately, the slimy honeycomb is one of the modded honeycomb that does not produce a byproduct of beeswax. And so we're left in this scenario where we need a bunch of beeswax, and the one that we're trying to get is not actually going to give us that. So I had to make additional woody honeycomb, which has a 50% chance of giving us a couple beeswax. And so that's kind of in there as an additional little thing on the side, I guess, because we need the beeswax and a fair bit of it. So I believe we should be good. Well, we should sleep now. I should have a sleeping bag on me. So we should sleep, and then we should get these boys out of there. And then once they're out of there, we'll pick it up. We can harvest most of the honeycomb, I believe. It's at honey level 4 right now. So when we pop them out, let's speed this up a little bit. Maybe like times 8. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to let all of them pop out real quick. Well, I'm going to smoke this, and then I guess we should scrape it real quick. Unfortunately, when you speed it up, that does also speed up how quickly the smoker stops working on it, so you got to be a little bit quick about it. I'm hoping these other bees will pop out of here, because I don't know if it's a problem if you pick these up with bees in it, but I don't want to lose my good bees. So you know what? I'm going to speed it up even more. We'll get that other bee out of there, and then we will pick it up, and we will craft it up to the next tier. Okay, so, oh no, that was their hive, that's right. Oh no, okay, okay. Oh no, one of them's on fire. No. Oh, that was a huge mistake. I guess I'm supposed to pick it up with them in it or something? Oh no. Well, they are not happy. Okay, well, we can upgrade this really quick, and then we'll definitely not mess that up again. I have another woody bee, or forest bee, so whoops, that was a bit of a mistake. Okay, so we have those things, and then if we go to Beehive, we've got our tier 1 Beehive to tier 2. We can complete... how much honeycomb do I have in here? Okay, I guess that was the only honeycomb I had. Okay, so I thought maybe I had more of that. Okay, well, now we can claim our reward of honeycomb blocks. We can get between 8 and 16. Let's hope we're on the lucky end this time. What'd we get? We got 10. Okay, that's exactly what we got with the last one. So, not too good, not too bad. So, we can grab out the beeswax, and then do we have the stuff that we need to craft this? So, we need our modded honeycomb block. We need... Okay, we should have enough. We should have enough if my math is not totally horrible. So we need to make 4 of these, which we have pretty much the exact amount of. And then we need the honeycomb block. And we can go to... Did I misread that? What does the tier 3 beehive need? Beeswax block. The honeycomb block, or the honeycomb block is those ones. Okay, so I assume we can use the regular honeycomb block for the corners of these, and then we need the beeswax blocks. Okay, so we definitely don't have enough for that, unless we maybe get lucky with processing this honeycomb. So now we're going to put it back down. I'm going to let, collect more stuff from it, and then we'll be back to upgrade to tier 3, tier 4, and then apiary. Aha! Okay, so you smoke it with all the bees in it, then you collect it with silk touch. Now it's in my inventory. It looks super bugged because it says it's tier 0 with max bees is 0, with max honeycomb is 0, with +5 modification, but it says it's got the bees in it. It says it's tier 2 in the name. So now it's time to go do some upgrading. So we got some beeswax, and we should be good to upgrade this at least to tier 3, maybe to tier 4. So let us craft up our 4 beeswax blocks. There we go. Those go there. Slimy honeycomb blocks right there. Beehive there. Please tell me this is going to keep my bees. Does it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It gives you a bee box. It gives you the bee box. The mod author thought of everything. I was about to cry. I thought I just made a huge mistake. Okay. So now we have completed the tier 3 beehive, which gives us honey blocks. And to make the tier 4 beehive, do we have everything we need? Because we need honey blocks. And then we also need honeycomb blocks. So those can be any of the other kinds of blocks. So let's see. I might not have the honeycomb that I need to do it. That might have been a mistake to process all the honeycomb for the beeswax, since we didn't technically need all of it. But let's see. So my inventory is totally full. I can't grab that out of there. But let's see. So we can make... If we dump all of our honeycomb in here, do we have any in here? So we can only make the 1. Because these cannot, you can't do this, can you? No. Okay. So we definitely need to place down the tier 3, and we need to get more slimy honeycomb, any that we need to make 4 of the blocks. So about 32 of them. Exactly 32. And that's how we make the tier 4 beehive. The apiary then is also just honey blocks, which we already have, and then more of the modded honeycomb blocks. So I'm thinking that once we come back next time, it should be enough to have everything we need for the apiary. So that should be good. I'm not concerned about upgrading the apiary, but it says max of 9 unique bees in all caps. So I don't know if that means we can only have 1 slimy bee in there, but we'll see. But it's got a good modification timer, and we can kind of automate that much easier and just kind of leave then. So looking forward to that. But now it is time that we put down our lost bees and our tier 3 beehive in here. Again, another upgrade. So we're just going to put this down right here. No bees are in it. And if we just shift right click with this, it lets out all the bees. Nice. And they went back inside there. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Okay, guys. So I think that's it. I think I have everything that we need now to be able to make the tier 1 apiary. So we're going to do the crafting for that, and then there's a couple other things that I think we need for this. We need the apiary storage along with the apiary, and then there's the option of having like a apiary like breeder or something like that, but we're not going to do that. So I can process the rest of the stuff in here if I want to, but really we should just craft this up. And so if we click that in there, we've got our tier 3 beehive to tier 4. I have a couple of the bees in here still, but I guess if you smoke the beehive, even if they're not in the beehive, and then you take it, they're totally okay, which seems a little counterproductive to me, but whatever. That's fine. They didn't attack me, so I'm good. And then we should be good to craft it up to the next tier 2. So if we should complete the quest first, though, see what we get. So we're going to get some honey bottles and then a bunch of random stuff that I'm not going to have room in my inventory for. So we can dump the honey back in here, the honey glazed ham. And do we get anything else? We got a flask of fortitude, and I don't know if we got anything else. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, well, now we should be good to craft up the apiary, because that's pretty much the same exact recipe, and this one could actually take the beehive. So we've got our tier 1 apiary, and that is another quest that we've completed. So we can take our honeycomb, honey bottles, honeycomb blocks, and stuff from Scavenger's Delight. And what would that be? Was that books? Is that literally all we got from that? That's super lame. Okay, well, we got a bunch of honeycomb blocks and stuff. Unfortunately, if we want to go to the uses for the tier 1 apiary, the tier 2 apiary, we have the nether star. We've got those specific honeycomb blocks, but we need 2 tier 4 beehives and 2 tier 1 apiaries. So it's looking like this one's going to be a little bit of ways off, but for now, tier 1 should be fine. And then if we come and look at the quests, we have the apiary breeder, which we're not going to do, and then the apiary storage. And so this one we're going to do. It grants you access to the output of your apiary and the apiary breeder. It can also interact with other means of logistical automation. So that is how we are going to automatically deal with the stuff coming from this. And this one is going to take some honeycomb blocks, so we should remember that. And let's see if we can do it. So we have regular honeycomb blocks. I'm hoping that that's enough. And then it needs a hopper, which I guess it was legitimately correct that we do not have. So we'll just do this. Apiary storage, there we go, quest complete. So we can get our epic Oreo. Interesting. That is an interesting food. Wonder if we can make more of those. Wow, we got a lot of chunks of stuff. Not that we really need those, but it's a lot of chunks of stuff nonetheless. Okay, so now we've got the apiary storage, we've got the apiary block, and we've got a bunch of bees in there and then one in here. So I believe what we can do, and I went and I read this in the 50 Shades of Bees. Oh my gosh, there was more chunks on the ground. There's still more chunks on the ground. Wow, okay, there we go. So turns out I was being stupid, and the Beepedia is just for info on the bees, whereas the 50 Shades of Bees is the actual documentation that we need. So if we click in this, we can see that the Apiary Basics in one of the chapters, again, it's the same mod as what Botania uses, that I believe Botania originated. I can't remember the name of it, but I think it starts with a P. I think this is patchouli, maybe? Maybe. But we have the Apiary Basics, so we have the basics here, and there are 4 tiers. Each tier increases the amount of combs you generate per bee and the amount of time they spend in the apiary, and it can only be occupied by 9 unique bees. That means no more than 1 of each type of bee can be inside the apiary block at a time, but they can be in the structure. So the optimal way, I guess, is to keep bees regularly going in and out, so they're always generating combs. So I guess we'll keep a couple of each type of bee in there. So maybe we have like 3 of the slime and maybe 3 of the quartz and eventually maybe 3 of the netherite, and see if that's enough to keep them consistently going in and out. I'm ideally assuming that when they go in there and then one comes out, another one will be like waiting in line and immediately go in. But if that's wrong, then, you know, whatever. We might need to add a couple more or something. But we should be good then. It basically says on the structure of this, if I skipped over it, that it is going to be a 7 by 7 by 6. And if we place it down, we can have the apiary storage and breeder on any of the skeletal blocks of this. So I'm probably going to put it on like a corner, and we can put that on this corner over here. So we'll just, well, that was a weird time to unlock that. That was such a weird time to unlock that, but it looks like this. It kind of reminds me of a refined storage like importer or exporter. And then we can put upgrades over here if we want to. We also have all these different options on this side, which clicking them really doesn't do anything. Maybe it needs to have the apiary form before it does. But either way, we should be good to put down the apiary block itself. So from what I have read, the apiary block needs to be on the wall of one of these, or on the, on one of these walls, and it needs to be facing inward. So I don't know if we can rotate it or how it places or what. I guess if we place it down, we can see. So it's going to place like that. So we should silk touch this. It's worrying me that this is not, if I mine this regularly without silk touch. Okay, I'm just going to silk touch it. Please give it back to me. Oh my God. This is concerning me. Okay, we got it. Nice. So I'm going to put it right here. I don't want this bee to get out. You know what? I'm going to catch him. I'm going to catch him until this place is fully ready to go so that they don't risk getting out. So there we go. Apiary right there. And validate. So something is invalid. I'm assuming it's the ceiling right there and it needs to be one lower of oak. So I am going to, we'll try placing that down right now and we will see. So let's just get rid of these torches for the time being. And I'm assuming if we replace this, if we click validate again. Okay, well, I'm going to try this still because the ceiling needs to be 6 high. There we go. Okay, so that was in fact the issue. It said a lot of blocks were invalid there when I thought it would have... I guess it probably just didn't have enough room in chat for the messages. Okay, so that should be good to go. And now we have this whole thing right here, which I don't know what it means. Maybe we can import bees here. So like if we click this, we've got the slimy bee. If we import it, that bee is now in there. That's one of the bees in here. Wow, you can see the amount of time in there. Wow. That is so cool. Now, if I put the rest of the bees in here, I can't import them from this. So if I just place them down in here and just let them go, so they'll take it up in there. So you can see the bees that are in there. And so we've got our forest bee, which is okay for now. I mean, we'll... if we're going to need to upgrade to make, higher tier apiaries, we're going to need beeswax and stuff. Until I have like the nether quartz bee and stuff, it's fine to have these other unique bees in here and then we could just remove them later. So we can probably also put down a couple of these. So we've got the skeleton bee, the obsidian bee. I don't really know what these give, but I guess we can import them right in here. Well, you know what though? They probably need specific flowers. So we need to, no, get back out there. Where's the bee? Where's this bee? Okay. So we're going to pick this up and let's check what these guys need first. So we'll check out Resourceful Bees. And so the icy bee, if we see right here, it needs, that's breeding. There's so many things you can click. Shift right clicking. Okay, so that needs, it looks like it can use pretty much anything. So that's good. What about the obsidian bee? That bee, I'm assuming, is purple. That's an ender bee right there. Obsidian bee. So shift right click. What flower does this need? This needs a chorus flower to work. So the icy bee will work fine. And then when we have, this is icy bee honeycomb. If we look at the uses for this, will this potentially, if we centrifuge it, this does not have a byproduct that we want. Okay, so we are not going to put this guy down. We want ones that have a byproduct of beeswax, mainly so that we can get the beeswax that we need for crafting the additional apiary. So if we take a look at this now, if we go to the Apiary Storage, we can see the woody honeycomb is already over here. So that is good to go. And if we come out here, we can access it from right here, which is awesome. So basically what we can do is, I don't know if we have them in here. If we have so we have all the basic pipes in here. So we have the basic logistical transporters. Do we have any higher tier? So we have the ultimate. We don't need the ultimate for this, but I still would rather just have the ultimate here in general. So if we do this and then we get out is it in our backpack, our configurator from there, and these are coming from eating this. You know what? Those are filling up my inventory because of eating this and they're not going into the backpack. That's annoying. If we put this to pull, then it puts them directly in here. They'll be automatically processed. Then we do need to worry about having sufficient glass bottles in here. I think it has a fluid storage. I don't know if it just stops itself when it gets completely full, but now we need to pull things out of here. So ideally, we would end up having a refined storage thing set up over here to automate this. I'm not going to worry about that right now. This episode is going to be super long as it is because it's exploratory and we're kind of messing around with stuff. So what I'm probably going to do is literally just put down like a chest over here, because obviously I can't do just like a drawer or something because we're going to get multiple outputs. So do we have like a chest in here? We've got a crystal chest. You know what? I'm going to put this down because it'll look cool. And is there anything in here that we can kind of dump out? We can put the Oreo in it. No, it's going to eat that if we do that. We can put the configurator back. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Because the power is on the bottom, and I wish we could just have the chest right next to this, but this does not have an output on it, an automatic output. That's super lame. Either way, though, we could just, honestly, we could just slap this down, like, you know what? Let's just, no, oh my gosh. I'm so indecisive about where I want to put this, because I want it to look nice. This is super lame. Okay, well, we'll just put the chest down right, where is it? Where'd the chest go? It's so hard for me to find this. We can just put the chest down like right here. We can just put this down like right here. And what? I need the configurator out again. Oh my gosh. I have my inventory managed so well like an episode ago. Okay, so that's only going to pull out the process stuff, right? If we were to put like honeycomb in there, it'll process that and then it'll pull. Okay, so it's smart enough to not pull out stuff that's sitting in there like that. Cool. And then can we dump these? No, we have to manually put those in. So any of the ones that were, you know, just sitting in my inventory kind of waiting, including this honeycomb, we need to manually put in there. And yeah, so then we need to save some of these eventually for upgrading, because obviously we need the honeycomb blocks for doing this. So eventually I should disable this and kind of let this build up. But it's automated for now. So it's proof that I can, in fact, automate it. I'm, you know, capable of doing that with limited to no knowledge of the, you know, mod coming into it, which is really cool. Clearly not super difficult to mess around with, but I think it's going to be it for today, guys. So hopefully you guys, again, enjoyed this sort of style of video, exploratory. I'm sure a lot of you are cringing throughout this video as I tried to explore this, but we finished it, at least a little bit. I will definitely be coming back to this to further upgrade this. I need to make it look better, which I will do now that I have some slime blocks and honeycomb blocks and stuff to work with, and some time off camera now that we have the apiary set up. And then, you know, hopefully in a couple episodes, I think we'll probably do something different next episode, since you guys you seem to at least prefer having episodes kind of broken up where it's not just the same mod, like 3 episodes in a row and then we never touch it again. So I'll try and break it up a bit. Maybe next episode we'll, you know, do some mechanism or something that I want to, but either way, I like where the setup is for today. I will upgrade the looks of it a little bit. I will upgrade the refined storage. I almost said applied energistics again, but I will upgrade the refined storage aspects of it, you know, in the coming days off camera. And then when we hop back next time to work with this, we'll get it to the highest tier apiary. We'll get the bees that we want in there. We'll make sure it's fully automated over here and we'll be good to go. But for now, I have the ability to get slime balls without having to do anything. It's just going to take a little bit because this isn't the fastest thing ever yet, but we'll get there. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on a future one, as they come out every Monday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will talk to you guys later. Is that the bee? Oh, I think it's the bee that we need. Oh, first one. Score, we got another one. That glass not connecting looks disgusting. I have no idea how we undo a cloud in the bottle, so I'm just gonna like run away until it goes off of that, and then we'll come back.